Hello, Commander.
Alright, there we go. So, today I wanted to talk about the wolf, because seeing it all over the Reddit, lay Reddit, XDDD, I've seen it basically whenever I join games. You have hosts insisting you either go random or you don't pick wolf. And, you know, there's a reason for this, and I wanted to dive into that today, because at this point I think it's hitting we've hit that critical point of where everyone agrees it's annoying. Everyone's bitching about it, but no one's really giving any insight into how to fix it. And yes, there's been plenty of, here's how you can do it. I thought we'd go over how to handle the wolf clan and how we can fix the wolf clan, because right off the bat, yes, I will happily say that there are problems with the wolf clan in terms of the rush meta. At the same time, I'll also say that there's certain things that other players need to do and players need to recognize, because a lot of times if you have a wolf on both teams, the game's balanced, you know. Of course, now that is assuming that the playing level is even. This is going off the assumption that both teams are equal skill. So what I mean by that is you have a villager versus villager, you have a warrior versus warrior, jarl versus jarl, so on and so forth. This isn't like a goat clan king versus a villager wolf. I'm not talking about disparages like that. I'm saying this is an even playing field. I'm just talking about the gameplay. Okay, so I want to start off with first how at least I think we can fix or address this current rush meta, and I want to just hop right into it, because honestly, this is, you know, it's kind of gotten to that point. This has been going on for a couple of days now. It's like, okay, yes, wolf is a problem, but how do we do it? Oh, well, wolf just sucks, man. Nothing good is coming out. Oh, there's rush meta. You know, it's just like, this isn't productive. You know, how can we address it? There is a fly, and you know, sometimes we need to nuke a place. But so right off the bat, here is my idea on how we can address. You're here, but there's no food here, my dude. There's no food here. Please stop. I am trying to conduct myself in a professional manner that represents the best of me. Alright, so right off the bat, the obvious issue currently is that the wolf clan can basically scout 2 tiles away. So you have their main base, and then about 2 tiles away, or generally in that area, there is a Draugr camp. You know, because they're wolf, and because the RNG, and this is something that a lot of people will see, you know, yes, there is RNG in the game, but there is a level of consistency. So what I mean by that is, basically 9 out of 10 games, you will have 2 types of food. So you'll have, you know, 2 farms, 1 fish, 1 deer. You'll always have some sort of food near and around you. Okay, that's pretty much always a guarantee. You will always have 2 free tiles, always, you know, adjacent to your base. You know, these things that will always consistently happen. And for the wolf, one of those things that will always consistently happen is there is either a nearby iron mine, again 2 tiles away, or a Draugr tomb, typically a Draugr tomb. And what this allows is, for those of you that don't know how the wolf rush meta works, is essentially a wolf player will expand towards the Draugr tomb, axe thrower micro the Draugrs out of the tomb, take over the tile, and with the pillage ability that puts them at about 150, once they take over that tile, they get 5 iron. So then they have a berserker. At that point, they are still going up their military tech tree, and then they go in and kill everybody. Here's how you fix it. You just tweak the iron requirement, and this isn't just for the berserker. This is for all war chiefs or shield maidens. You just set it to like 7 or 8. You know, set it to a level where it's not impossible to get a berserker, a war chief, a shield maiden, but set it to a point where it doesn't exactly stop a player from, you know, rushing if they want to, if they happen to get lucky and there's iron on the Draugr tomb. Okay, but they still have to build that, you know, mine, the mine. They have to send a villager to go turn into a mine worker, then, you know, take out their quarry, get the iron, and then go for it, you know. And at this point, the other player probably recognizes they are playing with a wolf, and they'll probably have some defenses for it, you know. And that's really, you know, it's something small, because the wolf clan itself, they're not a very OP clan, and I know there's going to be massive reactions to what I just said, but the only thing that makes them strong right now is basically the fact that it's the low berserker cost. The damage itself, they're the wolf clan. They're supposed to be aggressive. That's how they play, you know. You can't honestly tell me that the goat clan is supposed to be aggressive. The wolf clan is aggressive. Their attack makes sense. Their food. The problem is a lot of what the wolf clan does benefits what normally is involved with a rush meta. You know, you want to get food early. Okay, well, wolves give you food, bears give you food, pillage gives you a bonus resources, so you can really dive in, you know. So it's, you know, it doesn't immediately stop the rush, but it prolongs it so that players have a better opportunity to prepare themselves. I played a game, I think just about yesterday, where it was a 2v2v2. I was a goat with a raven ally versus 2 wolves and then a stag and bear. And I just happened to spawn next to the wolf because, you know, things happen. And I had, I was blessed by the goat gods. I had about 8 sheep within about 3 tiles of my base. Okay, I was very, very lucky. And I knew, because I had the wolf next to me, I had to get barricades, I had to get a tower, you know, I had to get a lot of defensive stuff, because this wolf was going to be rushing me by about 801 or 802, you know, after the first winter. Well, I had the resources, I was building everything, everything was going good. After the first winter, I had just dropped the tower, and here comes the berserker with 2 axe throwers. You know, I just wasn't fast enough. And stuff. Good. Alright, that wasn't too bad. Ooh, just about to steal it too. I thought you cleared this. Okay, well, I guess more healing for our healers to take care of. Alright, we need to secure the hell out of this tile. There's a lot of space too. Oh, yeah, there's the berserker I was telling y'all about. Well, yeah, that's pretty much as I expected, because I don't have, yeah, I can't kill him. I can't kill him. Coming. And it's, I think if that's, you know, 2 or 3 extra iron was added on so that the wolf player had to go find that extra iron, you know, to go out and farm it, it would have given, you know, the goat player, the raven, the stag, and so on and so forth, that extra time to prepare themselves, basically. So the next thing is actually to, and this is more for the longevity or the length of the wolf aggression, because one thing that you'll see in the video that I uploaded adjacent or earlier this week, and it's, I think if that's you know, 2 or 3 extra iron was added on so that the wolf player had to go find that extra iron, you know, to go out and farm it, it would have given, you know, the goat player, the raven, the stag, and so on and so forth, that extra time to prepare themselves, basically. So the next thing is actually to, and this is more for the longevity or the length of the wolf aggression, because one thing that you'll see in the video that I uploaded adjacent or earlier this week, or whatever I uploaded, the wolf can consistently hold on to a very large number of units for an incredibly long time, and this is typically about 2 years. So 802 and 803 AD, they can have up to almost like 5 or 6 units that just don't do anything, right? And no other clan can hold on to units like that without there being any sort of repercussion, right? As a goat clan, you know, yes, I heavily rely on my sheep, but that's so that my villagers can become woodcutters, they can become, you know, sailors, they can be other things besides just military, you know. I have never seen a Raven have 6, you know, axe throwers sitting right outside my base and just sitting there for like a year and a half, because it doesn't happen. You know, the Wolf Clan is the only clan that allows that to happen. So what my next recommendation is to, again, kind of not, I don't want to say nerf the Wolf Clan, but kind of rein them in, because again, I think their damage is fine. I think that their aggression is to be expected, because again, it is the Wolf Clan. But make the military units' food consumption just a little bit higher, so that the Wolf Clan can't just sit outside your base and contain you, or if they want, push in. You know, one of the things that I've noticed, and this is a lot of times happens, is when the Wolf Clan does their big push, that's typically their biggest and only push. It typically, a lot of times, it breaks them, because it's so food demanding and it's so, you know, rough on them to try and maintain this giant army. Well, make it more difficult, you know, make it more expensive for the Wolf Clan to maintain that army, because, you know, if I have to defend against a berserker who already does, you know, 40-something damage, you know, 6 axe throwers that each do 15 apiece, and I have to survive one wave, a second wave because they just back off, heal for a little bit, and come back in, you know, there needs to be some way to almost force the stalemate between us. You know, as the goat player, there's no way I'm going to push into that, and as the wolf player, it's just a matter of him just trying to come in and slowly chip me to death. And that's something that I think also needs to be addressed. So instead of, you know, let's, in the magical land of if the numbers were like this, you know, if the food consumption for one axe thrower or one warrior or one shield thrower is only like 1 food, you know, don't make it double, because I think that's extreme. But make it like 1.3, 1.4, you know, make it so that it just progressively stacks. So like the gold price, you know, if it only costs 1 food for one warrior and then 1 food for another, you know, make it exponentially more expensive and more taxing for all units. I'm not saying this is just for just the Wolf Clan alone, I mean all units. Make it so that if someone wants to try and have 6 axe throwers plus their war chief attack me, make it worth their time to try and kill me, because I'm not, you know, as the wolf player trying to attack into a tile, unless I know for a fact that I am going to kill this goat clan that has been sitting on this tile with my 6 axe throwers, I'm not going to want to invest all of that unless I know for a fact I'm going to kill them, or in like in a 1v1 situation, you know, I'm going to go all out to kill them so that, you know, I win the game. You know, it makes it so that, you know, it's kind of just like in StarCraft, right, where you have, when you rush with a unit, you know, the units are incredibly expensive because the longer that your opponent survives, the more powerful they become. Same thing kind of needs to be applied here to all military units, essentially, because what will happen is it'll become more and more difficult, you know, to attack your opponent. So now this next part is more to be critical to the community itself and how they've kind of handled this, because I think this is something that needs to be addressed as well. Yes, the Wolf Clan meta is the meta right now, but it's the meta, okay? I'm not going to try and pretend like, you know, oh, woe is me for having to deal with all these wolves. If you know that your opponents are going to have a wolf, have someone on your team play the wolf, okay? Again, assuming that you have that equal skill level, there isn't, you know, 2 kings versus, you know, 2 villagers. This is even skill level, and the only thing that's deciding your team is, you know, if you've got a raven, goat, and stag versus 2 wolves and a bear, you are going to lose. It's not because the wolf meta is OP, but it's also because your team comp sucks, you know? You need to have something that works, you know, as a team. The raven is just not strong right now. That's something that needs to be addressed. And also, by the way, that there is a combat patch that's coming out eventually. But you need to recognize, yes, the wolf is strong. Oh, well, I'm not going to play because wolves are brainless. Okay, well then when I come in and berserker rush you, then that's my win. You know, if you're not willing to accept the meta for what it currently is and either try and find a way to work it, so for example, playing with, you know, if it's a 2v2, having a wolf bear so that you have an incredibly strong offensive and an incredibly strong defensive, you know, find ways to work around it, because if you only have, you know, if you have 2 stags and a raven going up against 2 wolves and a goat, there's no way you're going to win. It's not just because, yes, well, hang on. Yes, it is because the wolves are strong, but it's also because your team comp sucks. That's just a fact, you know? And another thing, right? Another thing. If it's only one wolf, you know, if it's let's go back to if it's a bear, a goat, and a stag. Bear, a goat, and a stag. Sure, a bear and a goat and a stag versus a wolf, a goat, and a raven. Okay, pretty diverse teams, and in my opinion, pretty messy. But if the team with the wolf attacks the team with the stag, goat, and bear, you know, it's only one wolf, and there's 3 of you, okay? If you guys are communicating with each other, it's still only one berserker. And there was a great instance where I was playing against another streamer, and he basically came in with about 12 shield bearers and just completely stomped my berserker, okay? The berserker is not this invincible, you know, god unit. He still does have health, and if you have enough units to just dogpile him, he can still die. You know, you have to coordinate with your team. You can't just go in and solo him by yourself and then go, oh, Wolf Clan sucks, oh, blah, 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 blah. You know, you have to work, you have to communicate. The easiest way to stop a wolf rush is to work with your team to say, okay, hey team, I'm getting attacked. You know, I've got a tower up, or, you know, maybe I don't have a tower up, and he's just coming in with, you know, a berserker and 2 axe throwers. That's still only 3 units. You know, if I have 3 shield bearers, my ally has 2 Vikings, and my other ally has 2 axe throwers. Okay, that is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 units. I did the math this time because I'm not, you know, I don't want to be stupid. Excuse me. That's still 7 versus 3. Yes, the berserker will kick the crap out of the Vikings and the axe throwers, but that just comes down to basic unit micro. If your shield bearers go in first, and you micro your shield bearers properly to attack the war chief, or the berserker, excuse me, that berserker is going to have to back because there is too much damage that your team can put out against that one unit, because he still only has 150 health. It doesn't matter how much damage he can put out, he still has health. And this happens a lot of times, and again, with the video that I'll be putting out, you know, a lot of times if you just straight up just gank your opponent's berserker, war chief, whatever, sometimes they just don't have the time to react. A lot of times when that encasing happens, where all of your units, you know, just kind of surround your opponent, they don't really realize how quickly they're dying until that health bar just slams and hits 0, and then the berserker's dead. You know, communication and teamwork are some of the most powerful things that you can use against a wolf rush. You know, it doesn't matter how good or how bad that wolf player is, they are going to have some sort of potency to them. And all you have to do is just communicate. It's very dangerous, especially in the right hands, okay? 2 kings that are playing as goat and raven can kill a villager going wolf. The wolf clan doesn't make the wolf strong, it's the player playing the wolf. Okay, just like it's the player playing the goat and raven. It's the player that's using them. Yes, the units are strong, but in the wrong hands, it doesn't matter who's using them, you know? Any monkey can play Wolf Clan and get wins. It takes a real player to know how to use them and how to utilize them to the maximum that they can be used, you know? You know, a goat that can kill, that's just really it. And I mean, again, this line's gonna be scummy, but if you can't beat them, join them. If you see on your team, right, you've got 2 ravens and a stag going up against 2 wolves and a goat, okay? Because again, in my opinion, 2 wolves and a goat is one of the most strongest combinations, besides maybe bear, wolf, goat. All right. If you see 2 ravens and a stag, your team comp is going to lose regardless, because those are 2 very weak clans right now in this meta. So what you need to do is you go, okay, team, here's what we need to do. First, we need to drop the raven. We need to probably get a goat. We probably want to get maybe a wolf, because our opponents have wolves, and wolves are strong right now, so we should probably use that to our advantage. And then, you know, figure out what we want to do with a stag. Maybe make him a bear, maybe make him another goat, you know, something that you can work with. Again, going back to the communication, you need to be aware of the situation. You can't just join a game as a goat with your allies being double ravens against double wolf goat and just go, well, I mean, Wolf Clan sure is OP. I sure do hope they don't rush us this time again. You know, you can't live in bliss. You have to acknowledge that there are units that are currently stronger because this is early access, and you need to work with that. You need to be aware of the situation. And again, in the terms of Gold King versus Villager, you know, the player with the more experience is always going to be able to outplay the player with the less experience. So if it's a King Goat versus a Villager Wolf, the King Goat can kill the Villager Wolf. You know, the units aren't overpowered in themselves. Yes, the units are strong, but it's the person using them. So that's really just my piece. I know there's probably gonna be there's gonna be wolf threads that pop up all the time anyways, but guys, try and communicate with your groups. I mean, that's the most important thing. So with that, I don't really have much else. I think I kind of covered everything. How to fix wolf, increase the iron cost, increase the food consumption rate for military units, for how to actually beat the wolf in the current meta. Communicate with your team. That's the strongest thing. It beats anything. It doesn't matter what you're doing. And if you can't beat them, join them. Be aware of what your team comp is. Be aware of what your opponent's team comp is, and don't just set things to random. You know, as much as the host is gonna bitch and whine about how, oh, we need to play random, well then his team gets double wolf goat and you get the raven goat stag, and you know, no one wants to play that game because it's a bad game, and you know, it just makes your MR look like shit, you know, in EA. So thank you to everyone that was here for this video. I hope it was enlightening. Of course, I always do support feedback both for the Goat Clan and my own, so if you have any, please share it. And with that, hope you guys have a good day, good afternoon, good night. I'll see all you guys later, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.